Hi everyone, Deb with Dahlia Designs here, and I'm doing the hashtag BeCreative Harvest. Turns out it's hashtag BeCreative Harvest Moon this month, but I decided on Harvest because that's what I had written down. So I had 4 of these 12 by 14 millimeter lampwork glass pumpkin pendants from Beadbox Bargains from September 2016. They are lampwork glass, and they're pendants because they're not drilled like a bead, and they have the stem up here in lampwork also. So I've gone ahead and put 2 jump rings, like an antique brass color. I'm gonna say they're about 6 millimeter, 5 or 6 millimeter, I don't know. And I put 2 on so that they, when I have them with the loop like that, the green won't be facing front and back, it'll be facing sideways so you can see it, the green stem. These 2 are a little wonky, so I'll probably use them as individual necklace pendants at some point, but not today. So then I had these little check glass melon beads, 4 millimeter in orange and brown. So I picked out 2 of the more orangey ones, and we're gonna make our own ear wires with the beads on it. Hopefully it'll go well, otherwise you won't see this tutorial part. So I cut about 2.5 inches each of this 20 gauge medium temper antique brass color beadle-on German style wire, because it's a little harder than like an artistic wire, which is what I want for ear wires. I don't like my ear wires to be all bendy. And I did, I had one heck of a time getting that started, that wire. I did use these nylon jaw pliers. I don't know what brand these are. I had some that had the white in and they broke, the plastic or nylon broke, and I might have replacements for them. I don't know. Some other tools, opening and closing jump rings and things, chain nose, but this is going to be the star. These bail making pliers, they're by your tool, but I'm sure there's other brands. We're also going to use, this is not the right thing, I need my cup burr, which I'll pause and get, and also these are flat nose pliers. Some people call these flat nose pliers. That's really not right. These are chain nose. They go to a point even though they're flat on the inside. Some other people call them needle nose. I do have like a needle nose chain nose, and they're flat inside, but they're much skinnier. So those are both chain nose, just different styles. This is flat, and the difference is it's flat across, and I like that for doing the little you can barely see it on these, but I didn't make these, but the little thing at the end of the ear wire, and I'll show you those earrings in a minute. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is bend to make the front loop, and I'm going to use the smallest here, and I'm going to do them. I actually don't need to do them both at the same time for this part. You want to make sure it's not sticking out, right? And I have this turned the wrong way from me because I'm going to turn it away from me. I want the smallest one. And we're going to go and just bend, 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 bend till we can't bend anymore. Then slide it back. Now usually I do what's called break the neck. Not back far enough. But I'm not going to do that on these because I want it to be sort of a bendy loop, I think. And if not, we'll change it later. Now that one is sticking through, so I hope you can see. And just bend it over till it touches the wire a little bit more on that one. Oops. Okay, that didn't go quite so far as I wanted to. I don't know why. My hand strength must be off today. I did a bit of yard work yesterday and I'm losing hand strength, I think. All right, so now we have our 2 loops and they are consistent. So now we're going to go to, I think I like to use this, not the biggest one, but the next to the biggest one. But before we do that, actually, we're going to put our bead on. And before you start making the ear wires, check to make sure your bead fits over the wire. These, I did check that before I came on. So we have 2 little 4mm beads. You decide whether you want the loop to the back or the front. I want it to the front. So we're going to go like this. And it's going to be a little harder with the bead on there to get them consistent, because usually I have them smack up against each other. Okay, so I just said we want this one. I'm going to put that to the back. Is that the right one? Yes. Put those beads right up against that that barrel as best you can. Make sure they're even. It helps to have even wire so you can tell whether, I'm going to do one at a time actually. It's too hard with the beads on to slide, they're sliding around. So what we have is this, the beads smack up against the pliers. I'm going to go around this one. And I have a bit too much wire, so there's the first one. I forgot to do something actually. I'm going to take my needle nose, chain nose. You see, this is going to, actually it won't slide off, but I don't really want it to even, you know, I don't want it to slide up and down there. Let me get this one made first the same way, and then we'll fix both of them. I'll show you what I mean. We just need a little kink right above the bead to make it stop sliding up and down. And I should have done that first. And this loop is a little bit sideways. Okay, so that's what we have. Let's put them together and see. Yeah, the bead's going to slide around. Okay, so now we're going to take our needle nose, chain nose, or any chain nose, and just try and put a kink in. I'm going to come forward actually a little bit. And that, not enough. I'm going to actually push on this loop and have it come forward a little bit. Just, can you see? And that way, that bead won't slide up and down. So same thing, make sure your bead's all the way down. Right at the tip of your pliers, get behind there and just push forward a little bit. And that way, there again, that one's not sliding up and down. Now, I'm going to put them both back on the plier. And you have to have both for this step. And I want to try and make sure that they're even. And they're going to give me a problem because of those beads on there. It's not letting me scrunch it tight. Actually, yeah, there. Okay, now I think I'm going to cut a little bit off these actually. Let me get them straightened out here. They don't want to stay. I'm going to take them off. I am going to cut about a 1/4 inch off the ends, and to do that I want them to be even at the ends. I'm going to take my cutters and cut off about this much because I think they're a little bit too long. So you might only need like 2 1/4 inches. Now that I've done that, I can do one at a time here, which will be easier for me to do. Because my next step is, I usually like to do this together, but since the bead is on there and it's making it slide a little bit, I have to hold it in my left hand. I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, put it right at the tip of that end, of the wire and bend backwards slightly. Okay, so that's one. And usually, like I said, I do these at the same time. But today, I can't because the bead is giving me a little difficulty. But you want it right at the end. If I can see. Right at the end. There we go. And bend backwards slightly. Let's see how we did as far as matching them up. Beautiful. I just feel like, though, that these loops are a little bit not straight with that. You want them straight with this wire. You know, so when you're looking at them this way, they don't look crooked. Right now, they look a little crooked. That one does. There we go. Let's check this one. Same thing. Okay, now the other thing I would do, this is a reamer. I thought it was my cup burr. One second, I'll get that and show you. Okay, this is what's called a cup burr. I don't know if you'll be able to see, that's what it's shaped like. And I think it holds up to 18 gauge wire, something like that. This end can be a little sharp. You can use a nail file, but I don't have luck with that. So I was taught, if I can get the wire in there we go, to go in the same direction. Instead of twisting back and forth, just keep going around in one direction. Take it off, feel it. Yeah, that actually feels much better already. It just smooths that end, and it's an inexpensive, fairly inexpensive tool. If you're going to be making your own ear wires, it is essential, in my opinion. That one needs a little more. Okay, so that is done. And the other thing I would do, but I'm not going to do that on video because it's too noisy, is I would take not a metal hammer, but either a nylon or rubber or plastic mallet. Hold where the bead is off the block, the hammer block, and just hammer up here to make it stronger to go through your ear. And I will do that off video. So now let me just get these open and put our bead on and see how they look. The wire color is slightly different from the jump rings, but I'm okay with that. There's one, and all I'm doing is opening this like a jump ring and putting the second jump ring, the top jump ring, on and closing it back up like a jump ring. All right, and there, let me get my pliers because it's might be easier to show you dangling from the pliers than from my hand. There we go. There's our Harvest pumpkin earrings, and I'll probably use one of these two. That one, the loop isn't very good. Probably this one, and just add a bronze color chain, antique brass or bronze chain. So there you go. That's my project for #BeCreative this month. Thank you, Terry, for hosting. Next month, our theme is holiday, I believe. I better check it because I had this wrong. I didn't realize there was Harvest Moon. So you got Harvest instead. Oh, and I made these years ago. They're still available. They were from a kit. Actually, I made 6 pair and I have 1 left. These apple earrings, so that's fitting for Harvest as well. So we have pumpkins and apples. That's my last pair, and I don't know if I can get these anymore. And then I also have these available, which I thought these sort of look like pumpkin, but a different take on it. And if you wanted it to be Harvest Moon, you could hang a little moon charm or something at the bottom of the chain, but I like those as well. So there you go. That is my project now. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.